All right, just a little bit of bling for the video today. This is our M5 competition. It's got a leaf stuck in it. I keep pulling the leaves out this time of year. I can't help it. Anyway, I know I've shown this before. I like to start every video with just a slight bit of bling. This is a beautiful car. All right, enough bling for the day. All right, good morning, everybody. It's about 7:30 in the morning on Monday morning. I'm on the way to the gym. I've got an 8 o'clock today with my personal trainer. So it's a little earlier than normal. Got some cloud cover, so it's darker in here than I expected it to be. But let's just do another Q&A video. So welcome to Q&A. I believe this is part 6. This comes from you. So I got a question from one of you that it's kind of a multi-part question, but it is a big enough issue that I wanted to do it, like I've done the last few. So it's a question about how do you decide how to pay yourself and how much to pay yourself. So I'm going to read it. It's got a series of 3 or 4 parts to it, but it's a great question. I wanted to get it to you. So he starts out with, let's see, I have a question about, around determining your own salary as a business owner. You mentioned that you went a couple of years without pay at all, and that of course you need to balance that with the other expenses such as payroll, rent, etc. However, as part of your goals, your own salary must be considered when growing your business. So I'm curious how you found a balance to make sure that you're paid fairly along with your employees. Is it a percentage or a dollar amount? And then how is this handled differently in the later years when other executives and managers are brought in? So as always, I'm going to give you a layered answer with multiple parts. So let's just part 1, let's call it the early years. When you actually create your business, you need to have a cushion built up because there's a good chance you won't take much money home. You shouldn't take too much out of your company. So the first law or lesson should be, don't leave your company anemic or financially anemic. Do not take a big salary out, just period. Because if you do that, it will prevent you from taking in opportunities that come at you. You've got to have money in the bank in your business account. Because if you take money out, that can be a taxable event, or at least it needs to be set up as a formal loan to the shareholder, which is what you are officially as a business owner. But then you got to track it, and you've got to pay interest, and that's kind of it's a way a lot of people defraud taxation, so I'd be careful about it. But the bottom line is, be careful about how much money you take out of the company those first couple of years. So the question is, how much do you take out those first couple of years? And the answer is going to come from your business, not from me. Maybe you have a great year. Your first year brings in a lot of revenue and you don't have a lot of expenses. My advice from my life, from my world, from my experience is leave it in the business. Don't take it out. Take enough out to pay your rent or make a car payment. But don't start blinging up your life. Don't start buying big office stuff. Don't go rent some big office you don't need. Don't go start buying cars. Don't start leasing cars like in your business, because if I lease it, it's just a business expense. You're still spending money on your bling. Keith Cunningham, my business coach, taught us, don't pimp your ride. So the question is, how much do you have to take out? Just to maintain your life. Hopefully you've built up a cushion, and what's the minimum you can take out and maintain a lifestyle, and hopefully a meager one. So it's not a percentage, it's not a dollar amount, but how little can you take out and maintain your life, and how much can you leave in the business? The other question is, from the other side, how much can you take out of the business and still run it, and still make sure you have a cushion in your business side. So if you hire somebody, can you pay their salary, without going into debt? So the second level of thought I want to give you is this concept of fair and balanced. There's no such thing, fair salary for you as the owner versus your employees. You got to get rid of that concept. You pay them first. You take care of them first. You might even pay them more than you pay yourself for a while. They are more critical to the business than you are. Without them, you're not going to be able to grow or run a business unless you can be a one-man show. So get rid of it's only fair that this guy makes this, so I should take that home. That's not true, especially in the first 3 to 5 years. You might have people who are more specialized or more critical to your clients than you are, and you may end up paying them more. So really try to get rid of this whole concept of fair and balanced. And you have to rely on what can the business provide you on a salary basis without you harming it. And that can be frustrating. And so that goes to the concept of ego. You have to lose the ego. You're the business owner, but that doesn't mean you get paid the most. Particularly in the first few years, you're growing a foundation for future wealth, and some of that pay is going to come later. So just keep that in mind, that you may be paying others more than you're paying yourself, and you're certainly paying others more consistently than yourself, because they're going to expect to be paid every other Friday. 26 pay periods, whether you're getting paid or not. That's something that will kill your business quicker than anything else, and that is not paying your employees. Telling them, I'll pay you when the invoices get paid, or I'll pay you when the revenue's there. That's crap. You have to be prepared to pay your employees on a regular basis. And so now let's talk for a minute about paying your employees versus paying yourself. I set up ADP. Now, they may not be the solution for you, but even at my farm where I only have 2 or 3 employees, I use ADP because they do all my tax filings and all that, but they charge a fee for it, and you may not want to do that. So I think I pay, even for my little farm, I think it's $56 a pay period. So every other Friday I pay ADP $56. At this point in my life, $56 is crap to me, and it takes away such a burden for me. Is worth it. But that's how I started my big company as well, and we used ADP. They still use it today, even with 400 employees. So, but you need to set up bi-weekly pay periods. They expect that, even if they don't say it with their mouth. I know I'm the second employee, or I'm the third employee. I know that's crap. Eventually it will cause them concern. If you miss a pay period, that's a problem. So my rule was I had to make 6 pay periods with what was in the bank. And what? That's crazy. In the world I grew up in the world that I created with my company, we invoiced clients on a monthly basis, which means somebody starts with me and they work for me for 2 pay periods even before I got an invoice out the door. Okay? And then we are on a net 30 pay, right? Which means my invoices are due 30 days after they're submitted. And that's another 2 pay periods. So it's 2 pay periods before I could even invoice. And then it's 2 pay periods before I even expect to be paid. That's 4 paychecks out the door to all my employees before I even think I'm going to be paid. And then you have to have a cushion, because a lot of clients don't pay when they're supposed to. Lots of reasons, blah, blah, blah. So I put another 2 pay periods in, right? That's 3 months of pay for all my employees before I make $1. Where's all that money come from? That comes from your cushion. That comes from you continuing to save. And that might come from you not getting paid during those 3 months. So just think about that. So that has a big impact on how much you pay yourself, particularly in the first few years, right? You have this infant, right? Infants can die very easily, and so can your company. And one of the ways it runs out of life is you run out of money. And so pay attention to your money, pay your employees first, build up a cushion so that you can go 3 months of making your payroll without making $1 from the company. I mean the company not making $1, not you. Can you make payroll for 3 months without your company bringing $1 in? You just need to be careful of that. And I'm talking about when I have signed contracts, submitted invoices, and I'm waiting to be paid. It can still be 3 months of pay before I make $1 from the company. And then how much of that comes to you? So that's a whole nother situation. So I'm just trying to teach you the business of the business, and get away from this concept of how much money are you going to make in these first few months or years. So at some point, you may have to go to a line of credit. And getting a line of credit for your new company is tough. There are 3 tiers of banks in the United States. There's national banks, Citigroup, maybe Wells Fargo, Chase. And then there are mid-tier banks or regional banks. In my area, it's BB&T, M&T. I don't know, those are the 2 that I think come to mind right away. And then you have the community banks. In my area, I've got Community Bank of the Chesapeake, I've got Sandy Springs, Bank of Georgetown, things like that. I mean, literally your local banks where you walk in and you kind of know everybody. So I would assume you'd want to go to a local bank first. But getting a line of credit means you're going to back it. You're going to put everything you own and anything you own in the future against that line of credit in case you screw up and can't pay it back, which gives the bank the right and the authority, the legal right, to go in and take everything, your cars, your house, your investment properties, your savings, and if you're married, your spouse are going to have to sign all that. So that's where a lot of companies kind of hit the skids, is when they have to go out and get a line of credit or a loan to make operations work. But you might, as you get bigger, your payroll might get large enough that you need some sort of line of credit to help you, or you are way better at saving money than I was, and you have a huge cushion and a lot of cash in the bank. But a line of credit is tough, and I would advise against you going out and get a line of credit just so you can pay yourself a salary. If your operations can pay your employees and leave you a little bit of a cushion, but you can't yet pay yourself, don't go borrow money to pay yourself a salary. That should come out of your personal cushion. That's why 6 months to a year is sometimes normal for you to live off your cushion while your business catches its footing and actually starts to deliver financially. All right, so you also asked a good question about balancing your salary against your other expenses. And it is, again, my opinion from my experience, you pay everything else first. You are dead last on who gets checks. And so you have to pay your lease, you have to pay your employees. One thing that isn't on here are your benefits, your health care. You're going to need company provided health care plans. You need a benefits program, 401k, 401 matching. All that's money out the door that you have to fund out of your bank account, out of your business bank account, before you pay yourself. So there really is no balance. The balance is everybody else on this side of the teeter-totter and you on that side, if you want to think of it as balance. And you almost never get to touch the ground, right? The other side is down, gets paid first. And it can be that way for a year or two while you get yourself together. But if you want to hire quality people and maintain them and not lose people right away to a better idea, you got to pay them well, and then you need a great benefits program. So, again, no balance. And again, man, isn't that a terrible message? Video after video, Q&A after Q&A, you feel like you're the one taking in the shorts. And that's why many businesses fail, and that's why a lot of people don't start businesses, because as the owner, you feel like you're the one taking it in the shorts all the time. I'm paying all my employees, I'm doing all the work, I'm taking all the risk, I'm making less than some of my employees. And that's why some people shut their businesses and go work for somebody else. They actually make more money that way for a while. And the question is, do you have the discipline to stick it out? So lose the concept of balance with your employee salaries and lose the concept of balance with your other expenses. Other employees get paid first, all your other expenses get paid second. Then we can start talking about your money. All right, we're kind of into the final section of the question, and that is, I'm curious about how do we handle it differently in the later years when you get other executives and managers are brought in. So I'm a little worried you guys are asking like theoretical questions. Like, I doubt the people asking this question have an established business with lots of people and a management structure, and you're ready to bring in a true senior manager executive. So you're thinking way out. Now, I don't mind talking about it, but I would be a little bit, you need to worry about today. Worry about the problem that is in front of you today, not about some future issue. But let's talk about it. So let's project into the future, and you have a company, and it's drawn to the point where you need to bring in a manager, or even, you have several managers and you're trying to bring in an executive, a number two. So their pay, not ownership. Do not give away your ownership. But if you want to give away a nice bonus plan for performance, or you want to give them huge money, that's up to you. It is my opinion that your salary and their salary, there is no correlation. Do not try to justify your money as the owner, the creator, with anybody else in your company. I mean, nobody else. I mean, I was probably taking home twice what my number two guy was taking. Maybe more than twice. And he was critical. Yusuf, my number two, I still have lunch with him every Friday. He's become a dear friend of mine. He saw the financials. He knew what I made. My finance manager, he saw the finances. He saw what I made. What I made was not a topic of conversation. So, what I make, honestly, even if you know what it is in my company, is none of your fucking business. All right? Now, can you say that? Can you hold that in your heart? Can you tell those number 2, 3, 4, and 5 people that what they make is based on their performance, on what they bring to the company, and on what they bring to the business? Can they hit their performance targets? Has nothing to do with what you made. All right? Their house is not on the line. They're not signing the line of credit. They're not taking anywhere near the risk you are. So don't associate what other people make in your company with what you make. Right now, it's the opposite of what we talked about at the beginning of the video, right? In the beginning, your salary has nothing to do with their salary because you're paying them more because you need them to keep the company moving and growing. Now, you've blown it up, right? You've got a successful business. You're bringing in managers. Now it has nothing to do with it, the other way around. And now what I make is really none of your business. Don't worry about it. And if that irritates somebody or frustrates them, then they need to move on. And this is a big reason why you don't bring friends and family into your company. If you create it and you own it, then you pay yourself what you believe you're worth and what the company can handle. And if that's twice what your brother makes, or what your cousin makes, or your dad makes, so be it. But now I'm really talking from the other end of the spectrum now, so don't confuse this with the beginning of this video, right? Do not think like this until your company is established and moving forward. This is a cancerous set of thoughts if you're starting a business. Don't do it. Don't pay yourself 2 or 3 times what the next guy makes when you're in your incubation phase, all right? I'm talking year 10, year 15. I owned DHA for 25 years. And it was really the last 5 or 6 years where I could say this about my company, where I was bringing home maybe 300,000 and the next guy was making 180 or 200. Okay. And then I was bringing home 500,000 and the next guy was making 250. Okay. This is a mature business model, and that's what makes me a little bit nervous about you guys wanting to talk about those years, because they have no relevance and no impact on the first few years of your business. So let's talk about how you set salaries, not for yourself. So we've left ourselves, we're leaving the selfish bubble, and we're going to talk about your other employees. And the question I would have is, how much can they make somewhere else? And you want to try to make sure that the answer is not more than you're offering, either through literally base salary, and then you want a performance bonus. And we'll talk about performance and bonuses in another video. It's kind of outside. I'll blow this video up and make it an hour long. But if their base salary plus their annual performance bonus equals really better than they can make somewhere else, you're probably doing the right thing. Everyone will say, well, I love you and I'm motivated by being with you and you're my best friend and, I love the mission. That's bullshit. Until when someone approaches them in a similar industry and says, I can pay you 30 grand more or 10 grand more, they're probably going to leave. I don't care what they say to your face. At some point, it boils down to money. So yeah, mission is important, commitment is important, engagement is important. We can talk about all those things later, but this video is about salary. So make sure that you're paying people what they're worth out in the industry. Like, know what those people make out in the industry. So when somebody comes to you and says, hey, I think I should get a $20,000 raise because that's what I'm seeing out in the world, make sure you know that that's either directly true or they're looking at something that's really not a one-to-one comparison with what you have in your company. But if it's true that they could probably make more money somewhere else doing the job they're doing for you, that means you're probably not running your company right. Okay, that means you're probably skimping on employee salaries for yours, right? So be honest about that. It's not unusual, especially 3, 4, 5 years in, to start feeling like you deserve higher pay or you deserve more. We'll do that through growing your company and growing your profitability. Don't do that by, chinsing out on raises or on performance bonuses, or screwing the new hires, paying them a little bit lower so that you can take a few more $1,000s home. Don't do that. That is just terrible character, and people will find you out. And then, but your salary should not be based on theirs. And the last part is, don't make your money on their backs. All right, earn your money and pay them well. Don't make your bonuses or your salary based on not paying them what they're worth to you or what they're worth to the industry. They are worth far more to you than they are to the industry, by the way. Because if they leave, they'll go to a competitor, and now you have this great person that you built leave to either do their own thing or go to a competitor simply for 10 grand or something. So don't earn that character reputation as somebody who kind of screws employees. And if you have a bonus program, pay it. Don't say, hey, I'll put 30 grand out there in a bonus for you if you do these 8 or 9 things. Make them very light switch oriented, like you can do it or you can't. And then if they do it, pay it. Don't screw them and say, well, if I interpret this criteria, you didn't quite do it, so I'm going to pay half of it, right? Be careful of doing that. You'll create real anger towards you. You guys, I hope this makes sense. I hope these layers make sense. I hope these land. I hope this helps. Your questions will continue to impress me. So we'll keep going. I hope the series is landing well for you. And we've got another video coming. In fact, I might do 2 today because I got another great question in. So that's it. Talk to you at the next one. Bye, everybody.